Have your attention, please. The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Congrats on the philanthropy, Dak! Dallas still sucks! It's Studio Sports! With your host, the Alex Jones of Sports Conspiracies, Corey. Ain't that governor? He's back from Liverpool! Dad! And I said it once and I'm going to say it again. He's a big Philly guy. Ladies, get your hands up in the air for Magic Mike! And I'm back on my bull god shit. It's Lil Davey Dynamite.
Davey Dynamite.
I just want to say big shout out to the Rockin' Rios, John, Kate, Lil John, and Big Sean. Thanks for reaching out, big fans.
There you go, big fans.
Corey.
So, did anybody watch the Super Bowl last Sunday?
There was a Super Bowl?
Yeah, there was a Super Bowl. It sucked, man. The first half, I was texting you guys. I was like, I'm going to die. They're going to win.
Great first
You were
drive.
nervous. You were
Great
like,
first
you're
drive.
like, I'm fucking pacing.
I was definitely nervous, yeah. Is anybody else nervous?
Yeah, it seemed too good to be true.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, I was envious of the Eagles fans because, as you know, as a Notre Dame guy, like you get to the playoffs and you know you're going to get boat raced by Clemson or somebody else, so you know you have no shot. So, like, for an Eagles fan, like there was a 50-50 shot that you could be into it. You could be nervous.
Yeah.
They come out, they score within the first 5 minutes, and you're like, this is going pretty good. And then 3 minutes later, the Chiefs scored, and you're like, all right, well, it's a good game. Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this is just like the Patriots game. We're just going to go back and forth.
Yep.
There's going to be 100 points.
Yep.
And, best team win, best team will win. And then they just, they came out flat in the second half.
Yeah, big time.
And they couldn't stop anybody. And the defensive coordinator just decided he wasn't going to make any adjustments.
Yeah.
And, I can't even speak.
No.
So, it was like every time the Eagles had gone to the NFC Championship game back when Andy Reid was their coach, he didn't make adjustments and they would lose. Now Andy Reid comes in, I expect him to not make adjustments, and he's the coach that makes adjustments, and my whole fucking mind was just warped by it.
I feel like the playing surface bothered you.
Did it?
I didn't know that was a thing until I saw it on the World Wide Web, and people were talking about it, and they just showed everybody ice skating.
Yeah, so I think it's actually a bigger deal than people are making it out to be. So let's get started on that. This is my QAnon Super Bowl.
Yes,
Yeah,
the Alex
the
Jones
camera's
of
going to be on
sports
Corey for a
podcasting.
while.
Now,
here.
people have been
Yeah.
talking about this. It's not just me.
People are talking.
People are talking.
Talking about people.
Is that
The
Reba?
Sod Father, as he's
Bonnie
being
Raitt.
called.
Isn't it Bonnie Raitt?
Yeah, no, it's Bonnie Raitt.
Okay,
You're right.
yeah,
Sorry,
yeah.
Corey.
No problem.
Two
Welcome,
just
back,
won a
to,
Grammy.
welcome back to Side Conversation.
two redhead country sirens.
Corey's like, it's been a while. It's been a while.
That's a callback.
This is why you ask me, do I have a plan? I don't have a plan
Yeah.
because it's going to go off the rails pretty
Right.
quickly. So, yeah.
Of course. So the Sod Father has done the grass for every Super Bowl ever. He's like 94 years old.
He's got to be $1 million, right? Because it's 67 was the first one.
Yeah. No, he's not. He's 94. This was his last Super Bowl. That's important.
Oh,
That's important.
okay. I'll write
Okay.
it down.
He has worked for the Chiefs since 1963. Okay?
Motto.
Okay? He has come out and said that he had been talked to by Goodell. Goodell told him, you have to play fair. You can't root for another team because you work for the league, and that's just how it is. And he said, if I had two hearts, one would be with the Chiefs and one would be with the Eagles. He doesn't have two hearts.
Oh, whoa.
He has one.
Okay. All
It's
right.
with the Chiefs that he's worked
Yeah.
for since 1963. Now he's from Pennsylvania, but he's from like the Wilkes-Barre area, which is kind of
That's
like a
Steelers
Steelers
country.
area.
Yeah, that is
Steelers country.
Steelers
Yeah,
country.
Okay,
It's coal country, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
steel and coal.
Good women are.
well, for sure. But anyway, I
My
digress.
type of girl.
So,
one covered in soot.
so as we all know,
Yeah.
as we all know,
girl.
the field was like ice. Okay.
Yes.
There are
Terrible.
guys slipping everywhere.
Did anyone notice it while it was playing? I didn't.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And they talked about it on the broadcast, and they said that the Eagles changed their cleats like 3 times.
Yeah. I did
Just
hear
kept
that.
The Chiefs did not.
No, not at all. And they brought it up in the second
Weird,
half.
right?
Yes. Very
It's weird. It's almost like they knew.
Yeah.
They knew
Yeah.
that the field was going to be slippery as hell.
And that's weird. Going back to the
weird.
AFC Championship game
Yeah.
with the whole them getting a down back.
Yeah.
Corey, keep going. I think you're unraveling
Okay,
something here.
so somebody looked at this and produced these stats. The Eagles defense had a player slip on 38% of Mahomes dropbacks, and 5 times they had multiple slippages. Okay. Chiefs had a player slip on only 14%. No multiple slippages. They didn't even change their cleats. They knew something.
They
Right?
had to.
Yeah.
They had
They
to.
knew something.
I wish I would have come prepared with like red string.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
put it up
Piece
here.
everything
Yeah,
together.
Yeah.
That'll be in the new studio.
Okay.
So they also, now, you could say, well, they both played on the same field. The Eagles' defense is predicated on their pass rush from their front four.
Yeah.
If their front four can't get footing and they're just slipping all over the place, Mahomes can just sit back there and dink and dunk.
And which
Now,
he
if you
did.
noticed, which he did, you'll also notice before a lot of plays, they had guys running motions.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in those plays where the 2 touchdowns they
Yes,
scored, where
that's what I was
guys
just-
were wide open.
wide open.
Yeah, yeah, wide, yeah.
They were basically just running a motion and then hiking it and just running it out, and guys would just slip.
Yeah.
And they'd be wide open. Now, how did they know that that play would work? I mean,
I
now-
did notice how odd it was how wide open they were. That was like that was like old
completely
school
blown
fucking
play.
Sega Genesis Madden 95. You got Thurman Thomas going to the outside, you score every time. I was like, this is a little sus. A little sus.
It is
Yeah.
a sus.
A little sus.
I don't
Very
know why
sus.
nobody covers Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
I mean,
don't.
down the middle of the field, he's the offensive weapon at this point. You've lost Tyreek Hill. You know, they've got old school vets that are on the sunset, or they got young guys. It's fine, but you got to cover him. Doesn't make the them getting open less sus, but the setup, like, you got to cover that guy, man.
Right. And I think they wanted the field to be that way because they didn't want to happen in the Super Bowl what happened in the NFC Championship game, which is Mahomes gets knocked out and the game's over.
Yeah.
So I think,
The NFC Championship game was a beating. Like,
oh my God,
it,
they
whoever,
knocked 2 quarterbacks out in 8 plays.
yeah,
Like,
that was kind of
know.
like you just knew whoever was going to go back in there. At some point, like McCaffrey was talked about like going in
Yeah.
there, and he probably begged out of it because
Yeah.
that was just dudes pinning their ears back and getting after it, and someone was going to get hurt. That was a mercy killing there,
Yep.
for sure.
He had a lot to talk about that game too, which I thought was a little like, yeah, you guys got blown out, but you had no quarterback. Like, what are you complaining about? You know, like,
well, they were
he
like, well,
thought
if
that
we
they
had our
should be-
quarterback,
I
it's
don't
like,
think
well, they
so.
knocked him out.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, like that's just not an excuse.
Right.
Do you think that anything happened with Mahomes' ankle?
I think that
Ouchie.
he certainly
Ooh,
seemed
I
fine.
can't walk on it.
I
And
mean,
then it comes back in the second. Something happened in the locker
I mean,
room?
unless they put like deer piss in his ankle or something at halftime, I don't think it's as hurt as he thought it was. I think it might have been a little bit of like gamesmanship. Like he was like, "Oh my God, it hurts," and then like the Eagles probably got like a little bit
Well, that's what it
overconfident.
seemed like coming
Yeah.
out of the second half because they didn't change a fucking thing. So they probably
Right.
thought like, oh, he's done,
Right. But
which is bullshit.
I thought it was done.
I think Dr.
at the
Watts
half.
got in there and gave him a little something.
And cortisones or some, horse tranquilizers.
We were talking, we're at the Super
he
Bowl
was
party
really
we
running
were
like
at.
a steed
We said the
after
same
that.
thing. Like,
He's weird, Mahomes. You pay attention to him
the
talking.
amount
stuff is
of
weird.
painkillers,
It's real weird.
whatever they're giving folks
Stupid
in the
stupid
NFL
almost.
must
way
be
worse.
so incredibly good and not like FDA regulated,
Right.
because how can you take those shots and like they just must numb it to the bejesus bell and they must be some incredible painkillers.
yeah, they've got to be.
Yeah, to your point.
Well, they were talking about when he was being interviewed afterwards, when I think it was the Kelsey brother and him, and people were like replaying it, and they're like, "Look at how fucked up he is," and he was just like, "Ooh,"
Yeah.
and I was like, "Well," but also the more I pay attention to him, he's starting to really come off as like odd.
Yeah, he's kind of goofy.
Yeah, he's like real. Like they cut a good meme with him where he was like being interviewed, and then they like blend in the Kenny Powers. Where he was he's like, we got this group here, and I was like, I'm like starting to really pay attention to him talk and whatnot, and he's really fucking weird.
Yeah.
But your mom loves him.
Yeah. No,
Real quick, how excited was your mom?
She was super excited. I was happy. I mean, I was bummed. Like we did a pop-up, and then I was down at Local Stones, and I missed the halftime show, so I missed what everyone was talking about that. And then so I like wanted the Eagles to win, but I was also like, I texted my mom, and I'm like, you're super pumped, and she was like, oh my god. So other than that, I was bummed.
Being a big Philly guy,
my jersey came, and then I was like, cool.
Yeah,
they lost.
Yeah, and it's
that'll be the Super Bowl they lost.
Yeah,
they lost. Yeah. I'll still rock it. Maybe wear it. I'm going to Philly for St. Patty's Day. I'm a big Philly guy.
Yeah,
so I'll probably be wearing this down there. You know,
kissing girls because you're
got
Irish.
A cheesesteak.
Patrigino's, Mike. Patrigino's. That's the only place to go. Oh, you dog! Wow.
Yeah.
So the sod, I think, is bullshit.
Yes.
I think that's a conspiracy I believe in.
That's the first one?
He was definitely...
There was more to that game.
Well...
The holding call?
That holding call at the end was bullshit, too.
Yeah.
Now, it was the right call, right? But they hadn't fucking called it all game.
Right.
So, I don't ask for much out of referees. But consistency. That's all I ask for.
Like, let boys play.
Yeah, and if you're not going to call it all game... Because Bradbury even said, he was like, yeah, I tugged on it. He's like, but they hadn't called it all game, so I figured they wouldn't call it now. Mm-hmm. And he's right. They shouldn't have.
Yeah.
But they called it because they knew that if the Eagles got the ball back, there's a possibility they would score, and they needed Mahomes to win his second Super Bowl because he's the golden boy now because Tom Brady's retiring.
And there's a lot of people like, oh, is he the next Tom? Like, comparing, like, I don't know.
They're going to make him be that.
Yeah,
but
I guess
he's not. It's just a different.
But
it's just different game. I mean, like multiple arm angles, shoveling. It's more Brett Favre without the exposing himself, right?
Yeah,
not yet.
Oh, yeah. Well, not yet.
It's early in his
I'm
career.
hungry for sausage.
Jimmy Dean.
But definitely a conscious effort to keep the brother and the wife off camera. They were like. Way in everything.
What is he, a TikToker?
I think so. Dancing on
Jackson
Taylor.
Mahomes.
Yeah.
Dance on Sean Taylor's number at the dedication.
And the wife is just horrible.
Yeah. I mean, I have a really cool voice. Her voice is terrible.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's where I feel like you lose it for me with like the Brady stuff. Like, I feel like Brady was like kind of untouchable in every category. He was good looking. He had the model girlfriend. Like he didn't really fuck up at all, and he just crushed it every time, and always, no matter what, he won and like pulled it through. And like, I don't know. I think you got to look at all that stuff. And already, like, I'm telling you, like, Mahomes is starting to look more like a lizard person. Just throwing it out there. Just throwing it out there, man. Right. He's really weird.
Yeah.
He's really weird.
So that's my conspiracy theory is like, if they want him to be the face of the NFL, all of a sudden, like, all those things around him that people hated, like his brother doing dumb shit and dancing all over the place, and his wife just being like super annoying and awful, like, they've now been pushed to the background.
Yeah.
So people don't say, I'd like him if he didn't have like all that horrible baggage and like they're so unlikable.
Well, that'll come out if he starts to lose.
Yeah. It's
that's what I would want.
WWF.
Yeah.
Right? Like
I know
they can bring that out when he's the heel.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like it's kind of getting to that point where it seems like I'm just watching like Stone Cold go against like it feels fake now. I don't know. I don't know, and if it's like the internet planting that seed in my head, just always seeing like, oh, this is scripted. These, you know, oh, Arian Foster, 80 concussions, is telling everybody, you know, like it's fake. I got, you know, like, so now I'm just like, maybe this shit is bullshit.
A lot of it changed for
but
me.
Go Birds. Go Birds. Dallas sucks. A lot. Horns down.
A lot of it changed for me when I watched, I believe it was Bad Sport, and they had a famous basketball referee, and you probably know, so like. When you see like how that guy controlled the game on calling all that shit on Iverson, like he admitted like they had talks and were like before the games were like, look, like Iverson's why people are here, don't call these, and like they tell them be lenient on it. And I feel like it goes on in a lot in the UFC anymore, and like if it goes to decision, it's going to go where the UFC wants it to go.
Oh, sure.
So like a lot of stuff is left up to the play, but then if you have these referees that stop a fight early or they're calling it, and then when you start watching this shit on Netflix, I'm like, oh, this isn't like completely out of the ordinary at all, and they could be, because it don't matter whether you're pissed off at it or not. The big big money was getting Kansas City in there. And because I think like the stadium and there was other bullshit where they got like money behind him, and where the Super Bowl was, it was like investors that are involved in like Mahomes backing in Kansas City. And
well, 3/4 of the money was on the Eagles. So Vegas won big time in that game.
Oh, yeah.
And I think for me, that's obviously, I alluded to it earlier, being a big college football fan. I don't watch pro sports anymore. I mean, I watch it, but I don't really get emotionally invested because I think the same thing that you do, which is it's entertainment. It's entertainment like the WWF. I'll always say WWF, never WWE. I won't
enough.
do it.
Yeah.
fuck those stupid pandas.
kick 'em all.
You beat me to it. You beat me to it. Like, I'm never going to see a panda. I could give a shit, right?
Yeah.
You know, but if you realize, like, hey, it's entertainment, everybody wants this, and then
I know, but
you come to grips with that being a hardcore degenerate gambler.
I want to believe.
Right? When you see like what you think and then all the other stuff that happens and you lose money in the end, you're like, all right.
And you actually pay attention to how much, like, I feel like gambling has went up to, like, you know, you can bet on.
You can do it in states now, not just
And it's
Nevada.
like everything's connected to your phone, and they got commercials with Kevin Hart where it's like, you want to spend $5 and get $300. And the one day I was like, the amount of percentage of people that they probably get to, like, they want you to win because they're taking all your money on the next 3 bets you make. And I'm like, you can easily start making people addicted to gambling by that immediate, like, fuck yeah, I spent $5 and I won a fucking grand. And then next thing you know, I watched people do it when I worked at Martin Guitar, and they had the machines down at the club, and they're putting whole fucking paychecks in it. And the dude's like, I watched the dude win like a year later, and he was like, I won fucking 10 grand. And I'm like, dude, you spent 30. You spent 30 fucking, like, people talk, like, they'd be sitting at the bar, my wife's gonna leave me, shit like that. Like,
quit gambling,
every
dog.
commercial now is fucking, every commercial's fucking, you know, Barstool's got their own, then you got DraftKings. I've even thought about it a couple times where I'm like, man, I'm pretty sure who's gonna win this UFC thing. Like, I can get in and get on that, and then I'm like, dude, the amount of people that are thinking that are actually gonna fucking do it, like, the whole like, because Mose used to always say it, it's fucking rigged for the gambling. And now I look at it where I'm like, this could all be fucking, not rigged, but like the shaving the points thing, that was super eye-opening on referees doing shit like that. That changed the whole game on that call.
Well, before the camera started rolling, we were talking about, like, a guy who got a job setting up parlays for a sports book.
Oh, yeah.
And that is like, I don't want to make a crass reference and say, like, but if you get like one of those dream jobs, or you, like, for me, I would love to see how the people in Vegas set lines. Because they're incredible.
Handicappers.
Like, when you think, like, oh, this team is going to blow out the other, and the line's like in a basketball game, and the line's +2, and you're like, this is a sucker bet. Like, of course, number 1 Alabama or whoever it was at the time, they're going to blow them out. Roll Tide. Roll damn Tide.
And it's always like a 3-point game at the end.
And
like, it's super close.
It's a 3-point game, or it goes the other way, and like, just like this week, they get upset. You're like, there's no freaking way. That's, to me,
that's incredible.
Yeah. So either they are just amazing, or it's all part of the plan, and they just write the script.
They try and set a line to make sure that there's like almost close to the same amount of bets on either side. And then if they get more bets on one side, which is another reason why that Eagles line was shady, because there was so much money on the Eagles side and the line didn't move.
Yeah.
Like, usually the line moves to get other people to bet. It didn't move. So I feel like somebody knew something. Somebody knew something was going on.
But that's what got me talking about gambling, is because you're like, it's 3/4 of the money's on the Eagles. Well, whatever the public's money is on is what loses.
Right.
If you could figure that out, like, wherever 75% is beforehand, whether you believe it or not, take the 25% because you're probably going to win.
Yeah.
The house.
Let's start gambling.
Yeah, I know. I wish I knew. Like,
is it too late to
I'm gonna
change?
start texting Dan, like, hey Dan, what do you want me to put on the March Madness?
Yeah. I feel like we can get into this in a situation like where if we like move merch or do something to get like a pot, and then we collectively gamble.
No,
with
I want to
money.
go bankrupt.
All right.
Yeah. I just want to throw it all away. Just done with it. Done with it. Yeah.
That's a good plan.
I'll live with you at the
more
property.
notes. All right. Hit me.
Two more like conspiracy notes.
Yeah. Still the same game?
Yep. Still a Super Bowl. Goodell, after the game, was hugging Chris Jones, his defensive lineman for the Kansas City Chiefs, like, really happy that they won. He's kind of weird. He does it all the time. But he said to him, I don't care how you hit the quarterback. The fuck does that mean?
Yeah, bullshit.
That's odd.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
Why would he say that to a defensive lineman?
Did he call his wife quarterback?
Oh, hey, is that a Ray Rice joke?
God, is that a cock
be.
reference?
Most of the NFL.
I mean, did Chris Jones get flagged for like a late hit? Or
No,
anything?
there
no
was no
sacks.
sacks on either
Yeah.
side except
Yeah.
for
They
one
counted
time.
one and it was bullshit.
Hurts ran out of bounds, but
Yeah, a yard before.
but they said he was out before the line of scrimmage, but he wasn't. He got like 2 yards, and I came and they're like, "Oh, he got sacked," and I'm like, "What?"
Yeah,
Like, that was another
and
weird
they're
call.
like, "Oh, well, they had to." Yeah, that was bullshit.
C.J. Gardner-Johnson got fined for his hit in the Super Bowl.
Really?
Yeah, there was no flag on the play.
Yeah.
He got fined like
Yeah,
25
he just
grand.
rocked the guy.
Yeah, he did rock him.
Yeah, but whatever.
Yeah, so I don't know.
Yeah, they had some bullshit too with like that Dallas Goedert catch and
Yeah.
what's his name? Smith's catch.
Yeah, where it was like
Devontae
the
Smith. Yeah.
it was like a fumble, but it wasn't.
Yeah, and then like all of a sudden, and it's like because Dallas on the Dallas Goedert one, he like ran through the bench to get back out onto the field. Oh. And they're like, they need a substitution, like, and like they stopped the clock, stopped the momentum. It was just, I don't know. It was all like little tic-tacky shit that was kind of bullshit.
I don't know. And the NFL is also going to try and ban the way the Eagles run
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
4th and 1 play.
But why can't
goal line plays.
why all of a sudden why can't you do that?
I don't know, but I know you probably wish that they would have eliminated that in college back when USC played Notre Dame.
Well, in like 2005. yeah.
What was the homecoming for the
That was
class
called
of,
the Bush Push.
2005?
Now it's the tush push.
Now it's
they're
the tush
calling
push.
it.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was the Bush Push back then because he pushed Leinart in.
Yeah. It's a dynamic weapon, though. I mean, the Eagles get 3 yards without. They could go all the way down the
They
field.
could, they could probably not run another play. They could just run that.
But what's
80
wrong with
times.
that? Why can't you do that?
Because
Yeah.
they said it's not aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah, that's what.
Who cares?
Who gives a
Yeah, who
fuck?
gives a shit?
It's fucking football.
Yep, I agree. The Eagles said maybe if they did what the Kansas City Chiefs do and run around in a circle before the play,
Yeah.
then maybe it would be aesthetically pleasing. It would bring people happiness and joy.
Yeah, I don't know.
I was
still
just
stuck on-
impressed that it was working that much, and I was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
cool! Like you figured that out."
Oh, yeah.
it's not easy to do that.
Well, like a
at all.
bulldozer.
No one does that.
You also have a quarterback who
but
can,
our birds.
Yeah,
he can.
maybe the Chicago Bears
But I
back
mean-
in the day.
Super Bowl stuff though.
But everybody knew it was coming. They still got 3 yards. That's impressive.
Yeah.
I'm still stuck on like Studio Sports. Can we do the logo where all the S's are dollar signs?
Yeah.
and we now
yeah.
and we
Cash
now, and
Money
we now
Millionaires.
gamble.
Cash Money Millionaires.
Yeah, I mean, we could turn that
If
into
you
like the
make me
gambling
into a Cash
segment.
Money Millionaire, Dan, we'll change the logo.
All right. I will.
I got $5.25.
I'll make it my goal to get you that Italian horn.
Oh, Dan, don't.
Yeah, I mean, like
Don't
that.
tease.
That would be like a fun angle to take on stuff. Is make
That's
the.
how I'm gonna get it.
We could make that logo and try and sell T-shirts, and then take the money from the T-shirts to open an account with that money, and then wildly bet on that and to buy him the Italian horn.
So I wanted Corey. Since you don't know about my life's aspirations, I'm part Italian American, which is gonna kill VIP. I want a Cuban link
Okay.
with a nice.
Are you
Italian
only built
horn.
for the Cuban links?
Pardon?
What? I'm sorry. That's a Raekwon reference.
Yes.
Anyway, continue.
Get him the Heineken.
I just.
He's making Raekwon.
Yeah. You mean the chef?
Yeah. the
Yes, chef. Yes, chef.
Tony Starks.
Yeah. Yeah. I want an Italian horn. So we will sports gamble.
How much do you have to? How much is an Italian? Like how
I
much
want,
is?
it's like to me, it's like $3,000.
Poof! I mean, we got to get
That's-
some
and that's on the
reckless
cheap end,
gambling to
yeah.
get you $3,000.
Just hang out at the club, get a bunch of scratchers, and go to Big Woo-Woos.
Yeah, we could get scratchers. Maybe we can find like something a little less expensive for our first venture.
No, I
All
want an
right.
Italian
Well, I
horn.
guess we're just gonna go all in on I don't know, whatever. We'd have to take a wild bet.
Just put up the first. Yeah, all you need was we raise 1,500, double it on a plus 100, and you got yourself a horn.
Yeah. Or what we
Man.
could do is take that kind of money and then go to the casino and then make a move there too. I like this whole
Always bet
gambling
on
thing.
black.
Yeah, I always
Always bet on
do.
black.
I only do that from that, and I've won a lot of money. I mean, we blew it immediately. We used to go to this Atlantic City when I turned 21, 22. We went out, and like I went there with like serious gamblers, and they were pissed because like it was Cucker, myself, then Zakeski, and then Josh, and me and Josh were like
Z-Dog.
yeah, and they were up there to like get money to pay like bills and debt. And, like they, like they wanted to win.
That's
like
never works.
No.
Never works out.
So we were just up there to like get hammered, and we were like, cool, this is fun. I kept telling Josh, like, let's take in a show. And he's like, I don't think they have that in Atlantic City. But we ended up finding Blanche the Singing Bartender, which was its own thing. So we
find
would
any AC hookers?
No, we
Whoa.
were. Yeah,
Whoa.
they were there.
That's
a
illegal.
great show.
It's illegal.
Not
So
an
we
AC.
ended up
do AC, huh?
we ended up going there, and like we were playing blackjack, and like I would have like 15, and I'd be like, hit me, and Cocker's like, yo, you can't do that, like that's my card. And I'm like, but I got like,
Oh, he's one of those?
yes,
He can't be
but like
one of those.
we kept winning, and then they were getting the shit cards, and they were like, those were our fucking cards. And I'm like, what are you talking about? They're like, you weren't supposed to fucking hit. And then Josh was doing it, so we were up like $300, but I would look at Josh and be like, yo, we got $300, let's go get dinner and get hammered.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
then like
yeah.
Cocker and Zakeski were like, we're not playing with you, and they like ran away from us. And then every time they saw us, they ran away from us in the casino. But yeah, Atlantic City's fun. I haven't really like, but every time I went, I would then take that winnings and we go over to roulette, and I'd be like, bet on black. And I think I lost once doing it. Like it's a solid if you want to like put your entire bank account on there.
Okay.
Like you're in debt.
Can I do
should
that?
do it.
Like it's definitely.
Can I do that at
something.
Mount
You
Airy
should
Lodge?
do that, listeners.
Yes,
Put
yes.
all your money
Oh no,
on
I think I'm going to do that this weekend.
The beautiful Mount Airy Lodge.
Yeah, I do feel like we should tell people. We should make it clear to like if there's any like kids in the back seats of cars listening to this
Yeah,
or whatever.
get into gambling.
Get into gambling.
Yeah, all right, yeah.
If you are deciding between blackjack and keeping the electric on, like use blackjack to keep your electric
For
on.
an
Yeah, I
extra
would.
month.
Yeah, it's
For an
electric.
extra
Boom,
month.
boom, boom.
Yeah.
It's good advice.
Okay, so there, I think there's something.
Studio Sports and Financial Advisors. Is the shirt getting too clustered now?
No, there's two divisions.
The intro's 3 minutes. That shirt's perfect.
Oh, it is 3 minutes.
I love it.
Yeah.
I did that all on purpose.
So, are you ready for next year with no defensive coordinator and no offensive coordinator?
Yeah,
Or we don't need 'em?
It doesn't really matter. The defensive and offensive coordinators really make that big of a difference.
Okay.
I mean, the defensive coordinator didn't make any adjustments, and they
yeah.
fucking did nothing in the second half. So
Cardinals can have them.
I mean, he
Where
was,
did they go
He
to
was pretty
head
good
coaching
this year.
jobs?
Yeah,
Yeah, I think they both did.
Somebody went. The
Arizona?
defensive coordinator went to Arizona, and the offensive coordinator went to.
Which is weird.
Remember?
Probably didn't want to have to celebrate. He's probably looking at houses on Monday.
Maybe.
Tank the fucking game.
Why would he tank it though?
Because he's an Arizona
Yeah,
man
he'd probably
now.
get paid more money if they would have won.
No, probably not. Then he would have been sad and probably wanted to stay. And then he's not going to be a head coach.
Yeah, he was probably sad. You're right.
Yeah. Duh.
I mean, the offensive coordinator, obviously, both coordinators were good this year, even though they lost the Super Bowl. But
They made it to the fucking Super Bowl. Who gives a shit?
yeah, but I mean,
Go Birds. Buy a bill.
Fashionably, too.
Buy a bill. I wish they would.
there's plenty of guys out there that they can get, and if Sirianni wants to take over play calling duties because he was an offensive coordinator back in the day, they can do that. They probably won't miss a step.
Okay.
I'm more worried about Kelsey retiring.
I'm going to cry.
There's rumors he's not.
I
Where'd
hope
you hear
not.
that from?
It's in the ether.
All right.
I mean, they
in the wind.
have a backup who's good, but I
don't
would
give a
like
shit.
I would like the backup to sit another year, get another year under his belt, and then Kelsey can go, then he can come in.
Well, like announce like it's a farewell year and make it like a real thing.
That'd be cool.
It was cool watching a clip from the podcast when the two brothers were talking about like not who won or lost, but how their mom was the week before, and like they were like, you have both your sons going into the Super Bowl to play against each other. Like they were more talking about the moment she had before there was a win or loss, because then somebody loses, so obviously you feel bad for one of your sons. But they were like, man, she was like the king of the world. My son, like, how crazy is that to have two
and everyone
kids?
was talking about her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like them both a lot. I got introduced to them towards the mid-season, and I was like, oh, these guys are like cool. Their podcast is cool.
Yeah.
I like their vibe on both of them. Vibing, not being sus.
He's so cool.
Yeah.
Kelsey was there. Jason Kelsey was there when the Eagles won.
Yeah. Yep.
Right, and Travis Kelsey. And that's kind of, I don't want to get back into my conspiracy theories and the WWE stuff. WWF, sorry. But
What?
like, it is a business.
What?
So, I mean, like, you want to win. Everybody wants to win.
Yeah.
But I mean, when you're cashing $1 million checks and you're playing this game for a living, and, you playing your brother, somebody's got to lose. I don't think they're taking it too terribly hard. They both have a Super Bowl ring. It's not like if you're Dan Marino, right?
Poor guy.
And I mean, like what we grew up with, like, and you're a Hall of Famer and you're incredible, and you just never have that.
That's
but
the
I mean,
worst.
fortunately for both of the brothers, they do had at least one going in, so it wasn't like my career. Everybody's going to say that, like Charles Barkley, never had a ring. Marino never.
Yeah,
had
but
a
he was
ring,
knighted, so that's
the round mound of rebound. Sure,
sir.
Absolutely.
yeah,
Sir Charles.
Underrated at this point, I think.
Yeah,
I think so too.
Yeah.
I think that's a Sixers jersey I'm gonna get.
You should
Get a Barkley.
get a Mac McClung jersey.
Oh yeah,
Whoa.
God bless him. Bringing a win to Philadelphia.
Yeah.
God bless him.
Yeah.
That was the best.
A white dunk contest winner during Black History Month.
Yeah.
Can you believe it?
Yeah.
I'm not touching that one.
From Philadelphia. So,
The
boo
dunks were
Dak.
legit, though.
Boo Dak.
I mean, it's not like everybody else. I mean, the one guy sucked from New York, but the dunks were good. His were just way better. Like, he was...
I feel like nobody's cared about the dunk contest in a
haven't.
long time until this happened.
Since I think Sean Kemp.
But it lacks star power.
Yeah.
Like Mac McClung won.
Yeah, I don't know who that is.
Right. If I
a big
didn't, I
basketball
knew
guy.
him from like YouTube videos or whatever. Like when he was in high school, he was dunking and doing incredible stuff. Like I didn't even know he was still in the league. I thought he fizzled out in college.
Well, he wasn't up until a week ago. The
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Sixers
what I
signed
thought.
him to a two-way just so he
So that
could
was
be in the
probably like
dunk
no one
contest.
else wanted
okay.
to do it, and then he was like, "Oh well."
Yeah.
It's like the home, the home run
Wanna see
derby.
me dunk?
Nobody wants to ruin their swing for the rest of the season. So it's just like the dunk competition is worse.
Oh, yeah.
Like it used to be Michael Jordan,
Stars.
Dominique
Dominique Wil-
Wilkins.
yeah.
Oh yeah, right. Like that was
Isaiah Thomas.
you turned up for that. And
Jeez.
like and it was cool. Yeah.
He's too short. He can't
No,
he,
Spud
was,
Webb.
Spud Webb.
Yeah,
no,
so-
he was
Yeah,
great
but
too.
he had a
Those were-
trampoline.
What it lacks though is that
In his calves.
so Mac McClung jumped over a dude
Yep.
on another dude's shoulders.
Yeah.
And like okay, that was fun.
And tapped the backboard with the
Yeah.
ball and then did a reverse.
right, which
Yeah.
is just like
Good
great
dunk.
stuff.
Very
but like
creative.
I'll forget that long before I forget D Brown pumping up his sneakers.
Sure.
Yeah.
Or Cedric Ceballos like dunking blind. Mm-hmm. And those are two guys that never made it in the league. They weren't superstars. There was some flair to that though.
Yeah.
So you gotta do that.
Yeah.
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 3-point competition was always my favorite.
Yeah, I like the 3-point.
What did you? What
And they have stars that do that, so.
Yeah, because that does
Yeah,
exactly.
but it's like Steph just, like that's also like one of those things that it's fun to watch, but like they're mostly gonna make every single three.
Right.
But what did you think of the All-Star game? Like I watched highlights of the All-Star.
This is the worst All-Star game I've ever seen.
It stunk. Like
They
no
all
one was
stink
covering.
now.
No, but they no.
The
Yeah,
Pro Bowl
yes.
is flag football.
Yeah. But like they.
I don't want to. Yeah, I get it. Nobody wants to blow their
No,
knee
but,
out
yeah,
like
but
in a
play,
meaningless
like people
game.
are there to watch the fucking All-Star game.
This was
Like
the first
watching these
year-
guys like play each like oh man, how often do you get to see the and like guys teaming up together?
And this
then
was
they're,
the
like,
first
not
year
even fucking covering
where
anybody.
they usually don't play any defense until the fourth quarter. And then
What's
they
the-
actually play a regular game in the fourth quarter. This year they didn't even bother doing that.
Yeah, like what? But why even do it then?
Why have the game?
Yeah, because it's
No,
pointless.
they shouldn't at this point.
Yeah,
Right.
just do the skill shit and give them a week off.
Absolutely. Like that the passing things that they did in Vegas when it was like Peyton and Eli.
Yeah,
And there was a
yes.
bunch of quarterbacks throwing, doing stuff, and there was like a dodgeball game. Like my son's 7 years old. Like we stayed up to watch dodgeball, and like he likes the Niners, George Kittle, and all that. And I'd rather watch the NHL do fastest skater, like
Yeah.
who has the fastest slap shot, like whatever. And I mean, with Major League Baseball, like here's my hot take. I'm pro steroids, man.
Sure.
I
Yeah,
want-
put everybody on.
please.
it.
Because
bring them back.
This is
Yeah.
this
I don't-
can we
I
have-
think anyone
when you
our
edit
age-
this, can we have like a clock in the bottom? How many times I say WWF and like ping ping?
Yeah.
Because like it is entertainment. I want to see roided up freaks hit it 600 feet,
sure.
and I want to see people throw it 120 miles an hour. That's great. Because that's entertainment.
Yep.
Like I don't need to see like a squeeze bunt. It's not the 70s. Sorry, Dad, if you're listening.
Yeah.
He's not.
Maybe
Oh
will.
come on, Dan,
Yeah,
you know
never
he
know.
is.
But yeah, I mean, hit it a million miles.
Yep.
Just throw
Yeah, start-
gas.
That's why the
and-
Phillies ruled in the playoffs, because it was just bombs.
Yeah.
Just hitting
Yeah.
bombs.
And they rule anyway.
No, that's
regardless. I listened to Dancing on My Own on the way here to get pumped up.
They said they're not using that song this year.
I know.
Okay.
But it brings back memories.
I understand.
Yeah, I just needed that feeling.
You needed it.
As I rolled through Little Vegas, it was just like, whew.
Vegas.
Oh, baby. I was dancing.
Little Vegas.
Waving to Arby's. Wishing, where's my Burger King?
Yeah, BK's gone.
Yeah.
Man. Look
What?
at that. Look
I
at
haven't
that.
been to Vegas. I haven't
Look at that
been to
shit.
You
Little
haven't been to
Vegas.
Vegas? Wow.
What happened to
Dan,
the Burger King?
Good thing you're sitting down. We have not had a Burger King in almost a year.
Yeah.
Gone.
What happened?
It's done. They're saying
I think the AutoZone
Slate Belt
forced him out.
Slate Belt Chatter is saying it's going to be Dunkin' Donuts.
There's a Dunkin' Donuts
There's
right
a-
across the street.
They're going to
Yes.
move it. Ding dongs.
Oh, then what are they doing with the Dunkin' Donuts?
Turn it
We
into
don't
a
know.
BK.
No, it's going to be a smoke shop. I bet you.
Why don't they do an annex over the
Yeah.
street where
Yeah.
the Dunkin' and then a Dunkin'? There's a
Double Dunkin'.
Yeah.
There's an annex over that you can sit in,
Like in
and then
Nazareth
you can
High
watch the
School.
cars go underneath you.
Yeah.
They have one of those like that. in
What's their
St.
logic?
Louis,
Is
I
that
think.
Dunkin' will be less bullshit traffic?
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. It's going to
Yeah.
help.
It's pretty much
going to
the
help
same
the highways
setup
and
as
byways
Nazo.
of Little Vegas.
Yeah, Nazo's the same setup. It's just fucking.
When we
two
moved out of
cars
Little
come
Vegas,
up
there
and
was
there's
no Taco Bell. I mean that's the home run. There.
That is. Whew.
Oh, my
Being
mom,
about
my
5
mom
miles
thinks
from
it's
there?
expensive. My mom thinks it's expensive.
I'm sorry, but it's
What's
a
she getting?
godsend.
What is she getting? That
You
makes
still
it
get
expensive?
a spicy
Oh,
potato
she's probably
sauce
just used
taco
to
for a buck.
cheeseburger
so-
being 60 cents.
Yeah, well, it should be.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Yeah.
If we're
You're not
talking,
wrong.
if we're talking about Little Vegas, I need a Wawa. Bad.
Sheets is better.
I like Turkey Hill's chocolate milk.
Beat me to that too.
I'm a Turkey Hill guy.
Yeah, you would.
Really?
Yeah, yeah,
TH,
yeah.
yeah, they're the best chocolate milk in the game.
I don't care about chocolate milk.
I do.
Yeah.
The Turkey Hill on the corner in Little Vegas, though.
Oh yeah, that's hopping all the
Yeah,
time.
sure.
Yeah. Right by the what used to be the beer stein.
I was about
Rest
in
power.
What?
No, rest in power.
All right,
Taco
Corey,
night.
deciding factor.
Ouch.
Beer stein.
Sheesh.
Come on, rest in power, rest in
Rest
piss.
in power to when they had the giant beer stein. Rest in piss to when they got rid of it.
I'll agree
right.
with that. I'll agree
Okay,
with that.
fair enough.
I'll agree.
Rest in power. Taco night. Rest in piss. Beer stein pizza. Not too good.
Oh, depends on if you want a tummy ache.
Yeah.
yeah.
Right. So this is going completely off the rails. So yeah, if anyone's not been to Vegas or Little Vegas or Wing Gap, like you should hit pause, drive around,
Yeah,
and then
see the sights.
then-
You
you don't
see
have
the
to.
sights.
No, you don't have to.
Oh, Corey, no, it's great.
No. I mean, it's gonna take
So
3 minutes.
back to me losing everything. There's a fight coming up this weekend.
Yes.
I believe it's Sunday. I've been
Sunday. They're fighting on
it's
Sunday?
boxing. I believe. Well, it's in Saudi Arabia.
So it's a 9 a.m.
They don't have
start.
religion there?
I think it has something to do with Tommy Fury and where this is like the 5th time they tried to get this fight
Yeah.
on. And a lot of it was because they couldn't clear Tommy Fury to come into the United States. So I don't know if he did something, probably like a fucking
We let everybody
rape
in.
charge
Why?
or some shit.
Yeah.
Allegedly. But I'm guessing there was something probably there because that's why this didn't go when they were doing it in New York. He couldn't get to the United States. So for them to do it in Saudi Arabia, there's probably some sketchy shit going on with his clearance to get into countries.
Okay.
So it's in Saudi Arabia. So I didn't know it was Sunday, and then which I prefer because I'll watch UFC Saturday night. Sometimes I like when there's 2 on, but with the Jake Paul stuff, I mean that'll be 9 hours of nothing, and then a boxing match. So
Okay.
yeah, they're finally fighting. They had Mike Perry as a backup, but then they said like Tommy Fury landed and got off the plane. Like it's a like the
So
Paul,
it's happening.
Yeah, but like the Paul, like he's canceled so many times. Like they were like they had a backup fighter. They put it like. I think this fight's finally going to happen. So there's been a lot of drama, a lot of bullshit. But
What do you mean by bullshit?
just like between the
canceling
two fights and like him pulling out and like all that kind of crap.
At least somebody does.
So I don't know. I think Jake Paul probably knocks him out. I don't see Tommy Fury doing anything. And then I mean, I was just watching an interview. Like Jake Paul signed with the PFL, so he wants an MMA match, and I think he's coming in as an owner. So like, it's kind of crazy because I think he's going to start making the PFL. The PFL gets paid very well. The fighters get paid like what they're getting NFL contracts to what the UFC is still paying.
Really?
UFC doesn't pay shit. McGregor's probably the only one who's made like real fucking fuck you money, where that's like what basketball players, football players, baseball players are getting that on a like low paid athletes are getting that. So that was kind of Paul's rib into like the UFC is he was like, hey, I'm making a lot of changes. Like we need health insurance for these fighters.
Well, he wants to start a union, right?
Yes, but so so if he goes somewhere like PFL and like he's involved and he keeps knocking these people out and he brings his YouTube audience over there, it's an avenue for fighters to have a chance to make real money and be in an organization, and it's kind of like what will offset. Like the UFC will always be the UFC, and that's like the NFL and the major leagues. But if you're an amateur fighter and you're coming up and you have the opportunity to go to a lesser organization and make more money, and it'd be way less difficult, like bare knuckles starting to change that. Where like British boxers, instead of getting into UFC or instead of getting into boxing, they're going over to bare knuckle and they're lighting dudes up because it's like white trash redneck dudes versus like a technical European boxer. Like I watched it live. This dude got smoked and it was like standing KO. Like it was awesome to watch, but I was like, dude, that guy like knows boxing. The other dude was just like bar fighting. So there's like more opportunities now, and it's the first time that the UFC is kind of getting like Francis Ngannou left the UFC.
Yeah, and he went
that
to
was
bare
a
knuckle?
big deal. No, he just left. So he has an open contract. He's probably going to go into boxing. But why he left is because the UFC doesn't allow you to have sponsorship. The UFC is not going to give you health care, and they nickel and dime you on those big fights. And they learned from McGregor they can't give people that kind of power ever again. So like I don't think you're going to ever have anyone do what McGregor did in a sense of completely control. Like he controlled everything. Like when they let him go over to Mayweather fight, like he made so much money and became like so big, and then did proper 12, and like he literally did it perfect to a sense of like they won't ever let anyone dictate ownership.
Because he made too much money.
Yes, he was making them so much money he could do whatever he wanted, where like he's throwing fucking dollies through windows and they're like, yeah, he didn't mean it.
Blind
but he's
guy.
still
He'll
doing
blind
that.
a guy.
Like, you know what I mean? Like he left the
hit by
USADA
a
pool.
car.
He left the USADA pool and basically did steroids for the new Roadhouse movie. And then like now he's coming back to do The Ultimate Fighter, which is going to be on ESPN, which is such a baller move on his part because like he's even going to be bigger, and he's got like a new, you know, Proper 12's got Apple Proper 12 now. Like the dude is so shrewd on business. It's almost like what Floyd did. So he kind of took Floyd's
except
blueprint.
McGregor can read.
Yes. So
it's important.
So like
the 50 Cent video is amazing.
So to circle back on it and kind of tie it up is that Jake Paul is going to PFL and he's putting a lot of time, and he's going to do an MMA match. So it's putting eyes on an organization where he can bring over, you know, the Paul brothers can bring over 5 to 10 million people to view it, where it can change the business. So like Francis Ngannou could go over there and get paid a fuck ton of money, be allowed to have sponsorships. They give him insurance. And if somebody, like it was a bad look for the UFC's heavyweight champion to walk away.
Oh, he was champion when
like it hasn't been good for like 2 years. And he's the first person to just be like, if you won't give me that, I'm out. And like
and
that
he followed through with it.
Yeah, and like they're on ESPN now. So it's not like before where it's on fucking Spike TV. Like people like Moe's and guys who don't follow it, they know, well, you still know because it's drama and it's ESPN and they're going to eat it up. So I don't know. It's fun. I still love it. Jake Paul, you can say what you want about him, but if he beats Tommy Furry in a fashionable sense, he now has defeated an actual boxer. Yeah. And then like ESPN's backing him, and they're actually ESPN is paying to be a part of the Jake Paul fight. So they're one contracted him, which means ESPN is starting to take him serious, but it's really just for his viewers. But if he gets this, then he's considered like a boxer now. And then like he's going after like a belt, or it all depends on how much money. But to me, it's like, you could say what you want. That kid was doing fucking YouTube videos to the point where he's being sought after by ESPN. That's crazy.
And that's gotta hurt the UFC, like Dana White too.
Well, it's because they're feuding. I mean, Dana could at any moment turn and let him be involved in the, well, see, then he kind of like, he evens that out where he let like Logan Paul, who made Prime Water, which is the first rival to ever go against Gatorade. That's the UFC's.
What about Powerade?
Yeah, all right. So it would have been Powerade.
All Sport. Yeah, All Sport. Yeah.
Being a dick.
So
it was carbonated,
but
it's terrible.
To me, he's the first one that came out and was like, "Hey, here's how the sugar is to Gatorade." Like it's a different era where he's publicly going after Gatorade and being like, "I have a better product." And then he has that many followers. So now he signed on with the UFC as that's their official water. I mean, that's fucking huge.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So like I think
that's his brother doing that.
Yeah. So
the
he kind of
one from
counters.
WWF.
Yes.
Okay.
So like he kind of counters that bullshit with that, but
The World Wildlife Federation?
it's interesting to me. It's at this point you have to watch what they're doing.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
And that's where I was like 2 weeks ago. I was like up in the air. Do I hate the guy or not? And
I want to see him get knocked the fuck out.
Yeah, me too. That's all I want. Yeah,
but that's the thing is it's the Floyd thing. But I think Floyd is not ever going to get knocked out. Is Jake Paul going to get knocked out? Absolutely. He's going to bite off more than he can chew because he's
but when is that going to happen?
It could happen with Nate Diaz. It could happen with...
Yeah, I want him to fight.
If he gets big enough and, like, let's say there's something that rumbles up with McGregor, like, I think McGregor fucks him up. Like, he's going to get with somebody who is an actual boxer and somebody who's been doing it, but you also have like a 25-year-old kid on fucking steroids who's been nonstop training with like high-end professional
like
boxers.
Ivan Drago.
Yeah, like they made a comment where they interviewed the one WWF guy, and they're like, how impressive is it that Jake Paul looks this way? And he goes, well, it's not that impressive if you look at that. Jake Paul practiced that match for 6 months with Shawn Michaels because he has money to pay Shawn Michaels. And then I was like, oh, that makes actual sense. He didn't have to come up through.
No,
he's paying Shawn Michaels probably $100,000 every time they fucking, you know what I mean?
Yeah, he wasn't wrestling at the Holy Family Club.
Same thing as his
Do
brother.
they still wrestle there?
I should.
They should. Yeah,
they should. That'd be great.
Yeah, so that's my Paul. That's my Paul stuff. I love fist fights. I love boxing. That's my sport to watch somebody beat the fucking piss out of each other. I think it'll be probably boring, and then maybe he'll get knocked out late. I don't think it's going to be like flashy and fun. Like the other thing I started noticing too is if you have people who don't know how to box, boxing sucks. If you're watching people who don't know how to box.
So how good is
watching
Tommy Furry?
Tank? He's not good at all. He was a fucking. I mean, he's better probably technically than anyone he's fought, but he's like a good-looking dude who's on reality TV shows in England.
That's right. He's a hunk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like he hasn't been in it's probably why he called why he backed out of the last fight is he probably wasn't ready for it.
He didn't want to break his nose for TV.
But his brothers, you know, the Undefeated and the Gypsy King, and like then that brings in like.
And that's the question I had for everybody because I don't follow boxing and I don't follow that
I
stuff.
only follow it because it crosses over into
My question was like, hey, explain to me like I'm 5 how this YouTuber is like a thing. And now, but you've done it in saying that he's got all this money.
He's been paying high-level coaches and high-level boxers to spar nonstop with him, and he hasn't stopped training for 5 years.
Right, and he's
24
to your
on
point,
roids.
He's a young
and they're
kid.
athletic kids.
Right,
they're like
right. They're
they
athletic
both
to
have
start
like
with.
they're both extremely come from a very athletic family.
So they're athletic. They have
stock
money.
there. They're
they
stock.
they can train nonstop. And you made a mention that like he's fighting subpar competition. Like,
I mean,
at some point,
like,
Well, you don't think guys are taking dives either, right?
See, that's boxing. You can't say that
so
it's
that's
not
what
happening. Now we're back into
to a
referees
simulation.
and bullshit.
It's back to a fucking. We're in a simulation.
Chewing on boxing.
We are in a simulation.
Do I think he's knocking those people out? Yes. Whether or not they're dropping their hands, I don't know. How much is $1 million to somebody who doesn't have $1 million? Like, you know what I mean?
lot. Yeah.
But Tyron Woodley, I can tell you that watching his entire career, he stopped fighting. It's why he was released from the UFC, is he turned into a late starter. He always has his hands down. He gets tired. He has one sporadic explosion, and then he just kind of stands there. And like he was getting knocked out and fucked up in the UFC. It's why they let him go. He was also a total pain in the ass to deal with. So when I saw that fight, Jared was like, what do you think? And I was like, well, I think Tyron Woodley can get knocked out because he keeps his hands down. He's slow. He's not the same fighter anymore. Nowitzki came in with the UFC, which like they are the most tested fucking athletes for steroids. So like I watched 6 guys not even be able to compete anymore because they're not on fucking juice. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah. When
So like
USADA
seeing
came
Woodley fight like that and get tired and not do anything, it's the same thing as like, do I think Nate Diaz can get knocked out by fucking Jake Paul? Absolutely. Diaz gets fucking lazy and he smokes too much fucking weed and he's old and like that's why Jake Paul wants to fight him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
He's not
Anderson
stupid
Silva
either.
was probably his toughest fight because Anderson Silva isn't like he lost his chin, but he's like old, but like he was fucking Jake Paul up, but then Jake Paul dropped him. But
Yeah.
you're dropping fucking, you know,
40-year-old.
a 40-year-old,
Yeah.
not some guy who, you know, he was still Anderson Silva though. He was like ducking
I know.
and moving,
Yeah.
but like,
Yeah.
you know, you lose that as you get older.
I guess. I
So I don't know, but
step.
like, no, Davey no steps.
Yeah. Woo, that's why I call me Little Davey
But I'm
Dynamite.
into it. I'm excited just talking about it. I'll watch.
Yeah.
I won't watch
and
any
what
of
time,
the fights.
What time on Sunday?
No clue. I steal it illegally off of some fucking
Oh,
app.
okay,
and,
Mike. You don't talk about it. You don't talk about it like that.
So
You mean you pay a lot of money for your ESPN subscription?
I'm guessing because it's boxing, it's going to start late and it's going to go too late for anyone to give a fuck at.
But
on
why didn't
Sunday
they do it
night.
on fucking Saturday then? Why do we have to wait till Sunday?
Because I think it has to do with Saudi Arabia and when they.
So it's Monday morning. Saudi
The other day
Arabia
they did a
time.
fight for the UFC that they were like the UFC is like globally building right now. So like they have like the Russians, they have that. So like they were pushing like an overseas card where like it was in the USA, but it started at like 3 a.m. So like they're like
so
there's
it's
cards.
They must be
time.
lonely.
Yeah.
Yes, Rob is that Rob Thomas?
Yeah.
It's huge.
It's match. It's
Yeah, it's
Matchbox.
Matchbox.
I'm done talking. I love Silverchair. That's all. That's all
Yeah,
I
you do.
close
You
up.
do.
Frog
Yeah.
Stomp, great album.
They were like 13 when they wrote that or something.
Really?
Yeah, no lie. Which is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Silverchair for you.
It's Australians, you know?
They're Australian?
Yeah, and, and
Hey,
anorexic.
Mike, you're croaky.
I learned so much in
Dingo
those
ate
last
my
3
baby.
sentences. Yeah.
Big Silverchair guy over
All
here.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Wow.
take that Heineken away.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's not a one-trick pony.
Get him,
Well-rounded.
get him a Foster's.
Well-rounded over here.
I love a good oil can.
Oh, so do I. Oh, man. Love.
Tell me more.
Ooh, I drank oil cans watching the Phillies parade.
All right.
It was- yeah, I
I'm
loved
excited.
it.
I'm excited to go back to Philly.
Well, you're a big Philly guy.
Yeah. March 2nd, then March, what's St. Patty's Day? 16th, 17th?
17.
You staying that whole time?
Yeah, the whole
2
weekend.
weeks.
St.
Wow.
Patty's.
2
No,
weeks,
I
yeah.
wish. No, I'm going down the 2nd. We are staying overnight. It's easier. Like, I look at it as like I can go to Philly and get a cheap hotel room or an Airbnb for one night and go have a blast, not worry about driving home, and it's the same money I would spend if I went to the townhouse 3 times. Like I'll just not do that and then go into Philly and like get good food. And
Yeah.
so we have a concert we're going to on March 2nd.
Silverchair.
Donnie Benet. Donnie
Yeah.
Benet.
Oh, I'm so jealous.
It's this Australian lounge singer. Real fun. It's gonna be a really weird crowd.
Corey, he's
And then you'll like this. Then this, I
sweet.
don't know if I told you this. So then St. Patty's Day, we're down there that Friday, which will be nuts. I think we got to get a dinner reservation. And then Saturday, we're going to see Vinny Paz and Jedi Mind Tricks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
So that's like that'll be all like hip hop heads and
yeah.
like it's not gonna like that crowd will be fun.
you gonna wear your hat sideways.
Oh, I always do. I'm gonna wear this jersey. What? I'm fucking.
Well, I mean, you're a big Philly guy.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm excited to go back down. So that'll be twice, and I think might be going back down in April. And it's fun. It's
You'll
just
be going
it's so
probably
easy to
down in
rip to
June?
Philly. When you want to go down? Oh, you want to go to games and stuff?
Yeah, I might
Yeah,
take you.
I definitely want to
a
go to
Phillies
baseball
game.
games. I think it'll be fun.
I might take you. See how you act.
I'll just pay for a better seat. How's that, huh? I got
Won't be
connections.
hard. Papa can only afford the upper deck.
Brooks hit me up, and we were talking about going down to the game, and I was like, he's like, we should go back to one. So I'm gonna try and get like tickets and see if he'll take us to a game. I don't know. It's tough because he has like killer seats and can
Yeah.
make a shitload of money just selling 2 of them. So we'll see. But I would like to go to a Phillies game. I'll go to
maybe
the
I'll take
fucking
you.
what's the Iron Pigs and we can
Yeah.
cut the headache out of it.
How about it?
What's the headache? Going to your favorite city?
No, they got kids and shit. Like we got to. It'd be tough to line it all up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, schedules. It'd be
Yeah.
way easier to
Yeah.
go to
Forgot
the
I had
Iron
a child.
Pigs
Forgot
than
I had a child there for a second. Can you use your contacts to somehow get Corey Feldman to Music Fest? Can we make this happen?
Yo, I didn't.
Felt dog?
I shared that meme of him going off on that like fucking Lost Boys song, and this one chick I know that lives out in Reading, she's like, yo, they like book him up here all the time.
We have to go.
Like I think we could go see that. He
have to.
has to go
Corey
to
and his
Philly or-
Angels?
Yeah,
It's him and his wife, and they
yeah.
do
Before he
covers
ODs.
And then the other...
Before he
yeah.
ODs,
right.
it's coming.
Like the other Corey.
You think he's going to
Yeah.
Heim?
I don't know. He's like trying to. He keeps like baiting everyone, where he's like, "I'll let everyone know who molested me," and then
He's been
like,
doing that for
in
years.
my next interview.
Yeah. Well, today's 222.
That's actually
That's
a
his
really
favorite
good
number.
impression. The impression was really good. Yeah.
That's him. The two Corys, their favorite number was 222.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. It's from my favorite show that broke off last night. So,
Wow.
rip Dan Soder.
Oh, why'd they break up? I'll talk to you
I
about
don't
it
know
afterwards.
yet. Yeah. All right. So we got Logan Paul's going to lose.
Jake Paul is
Jake
going to
Paul,
win.
Jake Paul.
Logan Paul's the water guy, and he wrestles.
Okay. All right.
And Pokemon guy.
We got.
and he is the Pokemon.
He's the
guy.
Pokemon guy.
Yeah.
So then we have what's
I knew-
coming up
I knew
next?
I could
March
shoehorn
Madness.
that in.
Yeah, March Madness.
March
I think,
Madness is coming up.
I think we should
When's that
try
start?
and
2
find
weeks?
somewhere to go.
No.
3.
3 weeks.
Yeah, I think so.
All right. So
Because you don't even. You
do
don't
we
even
all want to
have,
do brackets as a squad? We'll do maybe in 2 weeks. Get some brackets going.
Yeah, maybe we'll gamble a little bit.
Oh no, we have to.
Yeah,
Sure,
why don't we
sure,
start
sure,
the
sure.
gambling? He's like,
Yes.
no, we
How many-
don't.
how many,
He's like, he already knows the rabbit hole.
many
He's
college
like,
basketball
he's like
games
three
have you
people.
watched
He's
this
like
year?
2 people with no self-control.
I
and then
watched
he's
one
gonna push them
XFL
down.
game.
That's ice in college basketball.
Oh, none. But go Tar Heels.
Because we don't even
They're
have.
not even going to be in the tournament. I don't
No,
think.
they don't.
No.
No.
Oh, it's gonna break my heart. So then roll damn Tide.
Well, they're
No.
good. Yeah, they're
Yeah,
good.
they're good.
Yeah. How about Villanova?
Nah, they're not good.
Temple for my big Philly guy.
I don't like Temple.
All right.
Nah,
Villanova then.
they've fallen on hard. Philly,
I'll go Villanova. I'll go
Philadelphia
Villanova.
college basketball has fallen on hard times. Like
St.
teams
Joe's?
that you don't normally think of. Alabama's good. Purdue's good. They haven't.
Ooh, the
the
Boilermakers.
Boilermakers have a legitimate shot. At it.
Really?
Yeah,
All right.
I like
they're
going to
good.
Philly, just not
The
anywhere
new
near
number
Temple.
one, the new number one team in the country right now is your Houston Cougars. The Houston Cougars are number one.
Are you fucking serious?
I'm dead serious.
They got Olajuwon back.
Ort and Drexler.
Hakeem the Dream.
No, neither Hakeem Olajuwon nor Clyde
Yeah.
Drexler are there. Yeah, I know. It's still number one.
That's wild.
Kelvin Sampson's their coach, former Oklahoma Sooner coach.
Yeah.
Not the rub salt in the wound.
He fucked
Oh,
them
how
Yeah.
about the news?
by cheating.
Your boy Bob Stoops coaching in the XFL.
Big game, Bob.
Oof, yeah.
He's
on
probably
hard
the best
times,
coach.
huh?
Probably the best coach.
Falling
there.
on hard times.
I wouldn't say so.
Do you think it's because of
no.
gambling?
he
Is that
sells
where
a
I'm going to end
tequila.
up?
He sells a rock and roll tequila.
Oh yeah,
It comes in a bottle that looks like an electric guitar. It's pretty cool.
Oh wow,
That's pretty cool.
All right. So if
he's
I,
probably just coaching to keep the electric on.
Yeah, he
well,
does.
that's
I'm
is
sure
that
he
where I'm
could-
gonna-
That's where the gambling.
Am
went.
I going to
Yeah,
end
sure.
up coaching in the
Yeah.
XFL after I do all my betting?
If we don't hit, then you'll end up coaching in the XFL.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, cool. We'll meet the Rock finally.
I mean,
you know?
you heard
Who
earlier.
stinks, by the way? Big Vin Diesel guy. Am I
Yeah,
right,
I
Mike?
fucking hate The Rock.
Yeah.
Fucking scumbag.
You could be an offensive, defensive coordinator. We said they don't really matter.
His
So-
shoes
All right,
suck.
I could do
Can
that.
I hate
Yeah.
both? I can
Yeah,
hate both.
absolutely.
Sure.
Absolutely.
That's where I'm.
Until you see Fast 10.
I won't. So
How
I'll good
dare
there.
you?
Family.
We're
those
watching
movies
it
all
in
fucking stink.
family.
So
Family.
okay, so they
Family.
just had a commercial for Fast 10 on the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did.
Did you
How
see
is
The
that
Rock on
car
the Super
invincible?
Bowl?
That car just like fucking
Hey.
flies like a rocket and never has a dent in it.
He
Well,
built it
they're-
with his dad.
Yeah.
Who's no longer with us, Corey.
Yeah. So, and they, they're all mechanics.
They raced
work
that
on these
car
cars.
together.
They work on these cars.
When?
All the time. When
yeah,
they're not
when-
slinging tuna with no
Yeah,
crust.
in between the movies
Don't
when we're
get
not
me
seeing them,
started.
man. You know
Oh,
what
so
I'm
these are filmed in
saying?
real time.
The world is
Okay.
not in peril every
bad.
day.
Yeah, you don't think Harry Potter did stuff in between the movies, bro?
Yeah. God, how do you think he got around Hogwarts with that dong?
Yeah, well, those wizard movies are actually they make more sense than those fast movies.
How dare you?
I'm sorry, they
How
all stink.
dare you?
So-
think-
So
you
do
think
so
a
do
bunch
comic
of
book movies. They all fucking
wizards
stink too.
Yeah, I'm with you
Are
on the
real,
comic book
but
stuff.
family's not?
Yeah.
You don't think family's real?
as opposed
They're
to
a family.
Please.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay. Well, I
Just
think I
because
hear
he
my
says
mom
it
calling.
50 times in a movie doesn't mean
No,
it's
they
real.
don't. They don't just say it; they live it.
Yeah, they live it.
I don't know.
Yeah.
They're loving in an
Dan?
elevator.
No,
living
Living it up while it's going down.
no,
Yeah, just no.
All right, fine.
you can't be a family without.
We
Paul
are
Walker.
now a country divided.
When
Right.
Paul Walker is out, he's not a family anymore.
Then I'm out.
Yeah, but that's why they did 10 is because of Paul
Yeah,
Walker.
Paul
It was
wanted
a
to get
pact
to
they
10.
made before he died.
duh.
That's why I hate The Rock.
I'm gonna go home
Rock-
and watch
The
Varsity
Rock
Blues
franchise
to
the,
just
the Rock
erase
Just to see him get
franchise
hurt?
off of the
Yeah.
death
See him
of
get hurt?
Paul
Yeah.
Walker.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And all he wanted to do was Hobbs and Shaw 5.
Yeah. That's why I hate The Rock.
Yeah, me
It's
too.
Only because of a Fast and Furious beef that he has with Vin Diesel.
Yeah. And
Vin-
all Vin
but-
Diesel cares about is family.
Okay, but
See, I like Vin Diesel in Saving Private Ryan, but I don't like him in Family.
What about Boiler
agree.
Room?
Yeah, have you ever seen him in
he's fine in
Triple
that.
X?
No.
Yeah, Triple
you
X is
should.
really good.
Yeah.
He's in and then what's the
Xander?
other?
he said really good. He was just
Yeah.
like Triple X is really good, and he wasn't
It
kidding.
is.
I'm not
No, it's
watching.
really
I'm not
good.
watching Triple X because I'm a
X.
Triple H fan.
Triple X made
WWF.
Triple X made the most money ever overseas.
That's 8.
It's a fact.
That's not true.
Look it up.
Yeah.
Give it a go.
That's
Yo,
true.
those movies are huge.
Yeah, they're-
in
like
Japan.
Avatar,
They
like, they
go
always say,
over
like,
there.
Avatar
Yeah, that's
is
why
really
John
big
Cena
now.
had to apologize.
Yeah.
Like they travel the world selling like the Fast and Furious, and Vin Diesel's like Vin Diesel's like Hasselhoff in Germany. Like they eat up all that dumb action bullshit.
Because people like you live here in the United States, but everywhere else, they care about family.
Monster.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Not a good monster like a god.
No,
like a
yeah, yeah.
Boo boo. It's Halloween. You're terrible.
Hoorah, 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 man.
Oh wow.
Gotcha.
Yeah. What else is coming up? What else is the next thing to?
Baseball, baby.
Yeah, basically.
No, I mean, so what? March Madness is the only
Yeah,
thing.
March
we're into?
Madness is
Yeah, so
coming
we'll
up.
do that in, what, 2 weeks?
How does that work? Because it's like I'm not familiar with like the. So I mean, like, is that like would be a bunch of podcasts in between? How do you want to break that up?
I mean, they'll have a bracket show. where
How
they'll
long does
pick
it
the
go
bracket.
for?
A
month?
A week? Or, I'm sorry, a month.
3 weeks.
3 weeks. 3
Yeah,
weeks.
it's,
4 weeks.
yeah,
'Cause
'cause
we're
they
not even in
do-
conference tournament time yet. So
No.
we have to do.
Yeah,
we
when
have to
do-
do
when
a
do
week
con-
of conference tournaments.
When is that?
I mean, March
next
Madness doesn't really usually kick off until mid-March.
Yeah.
It's kind of false
Patty's Day-ish?
advertising because the
Yeah.
Final Four and stuff is in April.
Okay,
So it's not like it wraps up in March.
So will we know? Will all the conference championships be done like 2 Wednesdays from now, or we have to do it 3 Wednesdays?
They might be like right in the.
I
Middle
think
of
because I want to be.
two
We should be able to
Wednesdays
fill
from-
out our
yeah.
brackets. We'll
Yeah.
fill them out together.
The conference tournaments all
Are we
wrap
going
on-
in as a team together or against
No, we'll
each
each
other?
against each
individual.
other? Sure.
Oh
Yeah.
wow.
So you got
Oh, well.
conference tournament wraps up on a Saturday.
I'm good with
because
that.
then you got selection Sunday.
Okay.
So 2 Wednesdays from now would be the start of the conference tournament.
Okay,
Yeah.
so 3 weeks from now we could do March Madness. Show.
Right, because now you would have selection Sunday,
Yep.
and then the real games, not the play-in bullshit on Wednesday. That starts on like your Thursday
Thursday.
and Friday.
Okay. Yeah.
Those
yeah,
are
yeah.
like the national vasectomy holidays when
Yeah,
everybody
yeah.
stays home.
Yes.
You had to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the most vasectomies.
Yeah.
I think I got mine 2 weeks after.
Hell yeah, doggy.
Well, what are you gonna do? Big snippet.
A friend of mine just got it done.
Yeah, good for them.
He said that they took
See that? Them. I'm not gonna assume.
Can't.
Yeah, they them.
He said they gave him a pill, like a painkiller, and he said it like fucked him up. Like he stumbled out, and like
Really?
his wife had to like help him into the car.
I drove myself home.
Yeah, he was like, well, that's what he said is like they rely on, like he said, no one looked into if I had a ride, and he's like, dude, I was like fucked up.
Yeah, so was I. Just drove home.
Yeah.
One
Wow,
eye.
dude.
One eye.
Davy pills.
Yeah,
I made it
Just
home.
like my
I
own.
made it home from the club many times in the late aughts.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
And,
yeah.
uh,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
so
for sure.
we're good.
Yeah.
Yeah, shout
Way
out
worse.
Moe's on.
Yeah.
Yeah, he knows what I'm talking about. Yeah.
He might not. Actually.
No, you're right.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Might not.
All right, well,
Yeah, we're in an hour.
So yeah, we
Go
had
Birds.
Pull the
So we
cord.
have March Madness, and we got
right.
NBA playoffs, and then we have baseball.
Ooh, I'll
Yeah.
get into NBA. I never
Yeah.
got into NBA before.
yeah, we'll do it.
You're not
I mean,
missing.
See, the,
I'm not
the
missing
NBA
much.
is fun because it's just like everybody makes the playoffs.
Pretty much, yeah.
There's no reason to play for 82
Do you guys
games.
like going to
and then all of a sudden-
basketball games, or is that not fun?
it's expensive.
Yeah, because the Sixers
Are good.
Are good. You
Yeah.
know, they're
Yeah.
good. So yeah, it's expensive to go there.
How are the Flyers doing? Is it hockey going right now?
Yeah, I'm not a fly guy.
I think they stink.
Yeah, I think
They do
really
stink. They've stunk for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go Devils. Running with the devil.
I'm not taking Jersey over Philly. Fuck Jersey.
All right, we'll see you in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
God
we
bless
can just
everyone.
Close it out.
Praise
Yeah.
Allah.
All right.
Yep.
Well, does anybody have an emotional quote or anything?
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
we should probably start
Well,
figuring
see,
Dan,
that out.
I did. I had
Yeah.
a quote.
Yeah, yeah,
you.
yeah.
This is
Thank
why.
God.
This is
Thank
why it all
God.
comes
Very
together.
What a
because
guy. What a guy.
it works on 3 different levels. Number one, we're coming up on the unfortunate anniversary of Scott Hall's death. WW, and it's another reference for WWF, which I didn't plan on making. And I knew Corey was going to go off on George Toma, the 94-year-old man who screwed the Eagles. And so he's old.
Sod Pappy.
He's a bad guy, and he's old. So I'm gonna go with Scott Hall. Hard work pays off. Dreams come true. Bad times don't last, but bad guys do.
God bless everyone. Thank you, Dan.
Thank you.